Well, hello, everybody. I'm Toby Shifsky. I'm the Executive Director of Kaplan Real Estate Education. And today, for our Real Expert webinar, we're going to be talking about lead generation and conversion through social media on a budget. Best practices. Big topic, needs big personalities. And so we brought in none other than our resident expert, Art Valenzuela. Art, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Toby. This is awesome. I love it.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to introduce Art in a second, but you can see he's got his email address down there at the bottom. Feel free to take down his email address, everybody. Take a picture of your screen. I'll put this up at the end also if you got any questions for Art. So what you need to know about Art is Art's a pro. And Art, you've been in the real estate industry, since 1999, I think?
Yeah,
a real estate professional?
23 years now.
23 years. Look at you. Over that time, Art has led brokerages with agent staffs of little ones like 25 agents all the way up to 450 agents. So you've run the whole gamut. Art has a passion for helping others succeed, right? Through coaching, training, mentoring. Art has also been an instructor with Kaplan Real Estate Education since 2002. So Art, you did real estate licensing education in California. You've done interactive study groups. You've done real estate accelerator coaching for us, right? And you've been the lead instructor for us in California specifically since 2010.
Yeah.
Which essentially means
been a great ride.
Right. Which essentially means thousands and thousands of students have been Art's students and have enjoyed his teaching throughout the years. He's not only taught in-person classes, but been heavily involved in product development and student relations as a content expert. As a matter of fact, Art is currently working heavily on our next version of our Real Estate Accelerator, which is for new agent coaching. And that new version will come out sometime in January. The existing version is still out there, and it's awesome. Art recently earned his CDEI designation as a certified distance education instructor. And you guys should all know Art is a go-to for us as a subject matter expert on the business of real estate and on real estate licensing education, specifically in California. So Art, thank you for being here.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump in. So social media. I just listened to a podcast that said, social media is going to be the downfall of our world. Talks about all the things. I mean, literally, I got done with this 8-minute podcast and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we doing to ourselves? This is awful. But anything short of collapsing civilization as we know it through social media, there is one thing that's true. And that is you can actually garner a lot of leads through social media in America today. Do you believe that, Art?
Yeah, I think that's probably what they said in when the radio first came out. I bet you they said that when television first came out. I bet you they said that when the computer first came out and internet first came out. I'm betting that in every situation where we've evolved as a people, this is going to kill families. This is going to kill us as people. It's going to kill our culture. It's going to kill. And we see the good and bad in everything, don't we? I mean, certainly television could be the number one time waster you could ever have, but it can also be very informative and very useful in many aspects. And certainly advertising and marketing has taken television to the next level. So I still believe, and I use it every single day, social media is going to be an integral part of what we do. And even though there's been ups and downs in that, especially over the last few years, if you use it right, use it correctly, and don't let it be a distraction. Don't let it be a trigger to something negative, be a trigger to something positive. Then, 100%. It's vital that people learn to use it and learn to use it right in the real estate world.
Oh, I love your perspective. You're right. I think about all these big changes in technology and opportunities, and social media is just the next kind of evolution in our social evolution. And like anything, it can go crazy and then hopefully cooler heads prevail and bring back, a sense of sanity and a sense of of decorum that I think could have a long-term impact. And I think you're right. I don't think it's going away. As a matter of fact, I see people ramping up. In fact, that's our topic today: social media and how to use it right for lead generation and in real estate. But I got a question first for everybody here. There's your opportunity to play along. This is going to be a 30-minute presentation webinar. You're going to have a chance to play along. You're going to be able to ask chat questions. It's a moderated chat. Christina Sanchez is going to be pushing up kind of the relevant questions, make them good questions, and Art and I will both see them. Megan Whitfield, we're looking at your question right now. We'll get to that. But here's the thing. We have 30 minutes for a very deep topic. And really what we want to know is that we're going to be able to answer some questions for everybody involved. To that end, I'm going to ask a poll question. Everybody, you're going to get a chance to play along, and you're going to be able to click on your screen, and you're going to be able to answer this poll question. And the poll question really is, we want to understand, kind of who's here, because we have a lot of people who've been in the business for 10 plus years or 5 years, or heck, aren't even licensed yet. So go ahead and play along. All these answers are anonymous. Nobody here was going to see your name associated with your answer. And then I'll share the poll afterwards so you can kind of see how everybody participated along. How long have you been in the business of real estate? Go ahead and click your screen on the appropriate answer. And we're going to close it down in about 5 seconds. 5, 4. Wow, really rolling in fast.
Coming quickly.
Yeah, they are. Look at this. 2 and look at, they're still coming in. And 1. All right, I'm going to share the results.
It's like watching popcorn pop.
That's it. 10 plus years. Look at that. We got almost 12%. So 11% of the people here have been in the business 10 plus years. Awesome. Hoping you participate with some good questions. Love to have you here. And you are going to get a couple nuggets out of this today too. 5 to 10 years. How about that? People in that big growth curve of their business, really figuring it out. 6.75%. Under 5 years, 30% of you are definitely going to understand this. If this is a topic that you're like, God, I should be doing more of this. I know I need to do this better. I need to be more efficient at it. You're going to get a lot of this. And look at this. 50% of the people, they're not even licensed yet. You have no idea, but you're here. And that's a positive sign, because that means you have an opportunity to learn and learn as much as you can, learn on somebody else's dime as much as you can, but learn as fast as you can, because it will be a pathway to you to make more money, be more successful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish and close this poll. I'm going to go ahead and collapse this down and bring us back up. Art, how about that? 50% of the people, they're still doing their licensing entry. They're not even licensed yet. I love it. That's just awesome.
I like to call them, they're not born yet.
They're not
to be born.
All things are possible. No, awesome. You are in the right place, everybody. All right, let me go. I got a couple questions for Art. I'm going to just jump in. Art, right to the chase, right to the point. What do the top producers and real estate teams, right? Teams are a big part of this whole thing now. What do top producers and real estate teams do to generate more leads? Yeah. What do they do?
So I do want to be clear with everybody, and just real quickly, I in my journey of what I've done over the years, one of the great opportunities I had was to interview in a panel 3 separate mega teams, huge teams. When I say huge, top producing teams, I'm talking about minimum. The requirement was average of 10 agents and 200 million in annual volume, which equates to about 5 million in revenue. So average of about $500,000 in income per agent. So we're talking mega producers, mega teams. And one of the things that each team leader said, and many of the team members said, is they get nervous when they start when they're tracking their numbers and they realize that more than 50% is coming organically. In other words, it's coming through things like social media, referrals, just coming to them. It seems counterintuitive of what we normally would believe, because most of us, we get started in this business, we just want to get referrals all the time. We would just want to just lay back and just have people call us. But the reason why they say that is because we start to get dependent on that. And those things are going to fluctuate. And when you talk about the ups and downs in this business, you got to learn to be proactive and be out there generating your own business. And without even a hesitation, each one of them say they use social media. They use social media as their platforms, and it's changed. Which platforms have changed over the years, but I think the three big ones are going to be Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. Okay, and so absolutely, they're using it, and they're using it on a daily basis. Right, they're focusing on their activities, so that's a big deal for every top producer and every top team out there.
What now? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What kind of a traffic? I mean, what are we really looking at?
It's a great question. So the most current stats show that, and we talk about monthly active users. That's what you really care about, right? Because they all talk about how many people they have signed up, but that doesn't matter if most of them aren't active anymore. So monthly active users, MAUs. Facebook currently has 2.9 billion MAUs, monthly active users. So you're talking about over a third of the world's population that is actively monthly using Facebook. Instagram is around 2 billion, and TikTok is around 1 billion. And TikTok, I get a lot of pushback with TikTok, and people that don't want to use TikTok for whatever reason when they're getting started. It's a younger generation. You know, we look at the 4 generations that we've targeted, right, in any type of marketing, but in real estate, let's stick with that. Our baby boomers, our Gen Xers, me and Toby. I claim Gen X. I don't know you, Toby.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm Gen X.
Yeah, I think
right there.
And then of course millennials, and then now the Gen Zers. Now Gen Z, and all 4 of those are right around 70 million in population in our country, in the U.S.
So each category's got about 70 million people in it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's not much difference. And now the Gen Zers, who are mostly using TikTok, are now turning 25 this year. So they're getting closer and closer to that prime buying age that we consider in the real estate world. And of course, you can buy it, once you turn 18. I know a lot of people that bought before they turned 20. But certainly that prime, that if you look at the bell curve, 28 to 32, that's when we really start getting. So would you rather be chasing it 5, 6, 7 years from now and like trying to catch up? Or would you rather be ahead of it? And so when I start to talk to people and they start to realize that, they're like, I'd rather be ahead of it, so that they start to implement their strategy now.
So TikTok can be scary for a lot of people, right? I mean, it's all video, it's all, and it's instant and it's posted and it's out there. My kids are on it all day long. I look at Megan and her comment, she's got 2 kids and they're on social media all day long. And so it's going to be a scary thing. But here's the deal. We're going to get into it in a little bit. We're going to talk about professional profiles. We're going to talk about personal profiles. And I know we're going to answer some questions that Erica had. But I got a question for the group. I got a question for everybody here that's on listening to us, because I want to know so that we can kind of gauge the conversation. Do you currently have a social media strategy? Are you currently actively working your social media strategy? And I just want to know, because I think we're going to talk about it in a second. So go ahead and take a second. See if you can answer this question for us. Once again, it's all anonymous. Do you currently have a social media strategy for your business? Like you've organized it, you laid it out, and you work it. And you work it every week, maybe every other day, or even every day, but you have a full-on strategy. And because I want to ask you guys a question also. I want to ask you how it's working. But go ahead and finish this poll real quick. Well, very interesting. All right. Very, very, very interesting response. And I suppose the title of this webinar would bring you in. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. I'm going to share this with everybody. Look at this. So 46%, I would say almost 50% say, God, I don't have any social media strategy. In fact, I don't even have a profile, probably somewhere. Maybe you got a personal one. We're going to talk about a professional one. And then 14% say yes. Good for you. I think you got to be there. Unless you're super niche. And we're going to talk about niche a little bit later too. But and then kind of sort of figuring it out right now. I like it. I put these answers in because this is the way I'm like, well, I kind of got one, but I really need a little more help. That's where I think we're at with a lot of people. Sure. So look at, we're at no or kind of sort of with almost, 85% of the people here. So this is going to be good. Let's go ahead and I'm going to collapse and bring this back. All right. So Art, Let's talk a little bit about this. So there's a lot of different social media. I know you want to concentrate on the top three, right? So what you think, which is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I want to ask one more question of everybody, because I have a feeling that's going to be the one that we see from the people who are actually doing it or kind of sort of doing it. You're going to have an opportunity to answer this next polling question, which is, which social media platforms are you actually using? And even if you're not using it for your business, but you actually have an account for personal, go ahead and play along on this poll. I just want to see where everybody's at, because I think it's going to fall in line with what you thought too, but maybe not. Maybe we'll be surprised. All right. So here comes our next polling question. And the polling question is really pretty straightforward, but you can answer multiple answers, everybody. What social media platforms do you currently utilize for your business? Once again, I see we only have 14% who have an active plan. We got some doing kind of, sort of. And then if you don't, I would say, go ahead and plop it in if you actually, have an account somewhere. Even if it's personal, I'm okay with that. All right. Look at that. Rocking in. They're rocking in. Fast, fast, fast. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There you go.
I'm going to share the results. How about this? Twitter with only 6.75%. Elon Musk, I don't know if he's buying it or not, but he doesn't own the real estate world.
He probably saw the traffic and realized, I need to get out of this because it's dropping.
Facebook, 25%. Instagram, 20%. TikTok, 6%. YouTube, 9%. WhatsApp, Pinterest, Snapchat, LinkedIn is up at 15%. Otherwise, the other one's down around 5%, somewhere in there. So on our little impromptu poll here, everybody, Facebook is number 1, Instagram is number 2, and number 3 would be LinkedIn. TikTok is kind of pulling up the back end of it, but I think we would argue it's a younger demographic and it's an up and comer. I think is what we're seeing there. So, all right, Art, let's get into the meat of this. Because I think we have some things that we want to cover. You say the secret to lead generation, right, is important. Let me ask you, how does lead generation really work on these? How much is somebody going to spend, if it's Facebook, if it's Instagram, TikTok? I mean, because you and I had a conversation before, and we both kind of agreed to get leads is not hard.
Nope.
If you're there and you set up your profiles accordingly, to get leads, this is the honest truth. To get leads is not hard, but it does what? What is it?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. For sure, if you just wanted to spend money, throw money at it, you can generate lead. Lead generation is the easiest thing in the world to do today if you have money, right? But you could literally spend zero to whatever amount. I mean, no cap on whatever you want to spend. I see a lot of successful agents out there, and even people on my team currently that don't spend any money on lead generation through their social media, just constantly are posting videos, constantly are posting things and get traction that way. But you can't. I mean, the beauty of Facebook, Instagram, all these platforms is being able to set your own budget. So however much money you want to spend, I saw somebody talking about sponsored ads, and what are people talking about sponsored ads today? It's a very inexpensive way to generate business, to generate leads coming your way, right? And we're going to get more into it in a second, but yeah, if you spend the money, you can generate leads.
What am I talking about spend? If I'm talking Facebook, how much money am I spending? We're talking about boosted ads. We're talking about, all right, first off, I got to have a profile. I got some place to actually, organize, or do I need to have a profile? Or how does that work?
Facebook and Instagram right now, you got to have a business profile to do boosted and sponsored ads. You can't do that on your personal pages. Okay. Got to do it on your business profile. And currently, and I've seen it fluctuate this year, but currently, I've seen buyer leads are at a cost right now of about $2 to $2.50. Let's call it $2 to $2.50 per lead for buyers leads. That's $2.50. All right, so you can generate, for $100, you can generate quite a bit of buyers leads coming your way, right?
And how do you do that? How do you create that? Is that just a posting, an ad, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's a sponsored ad, so it could be anything from here's an open house I'm going to do. Here's a new listing I just have. It could be one of your broker's listings. It could be one of your team members or another colleague in your office listings. It could be a webinar that you're going to do, buyer's webinar, home buying. It could be anything that you post out there and just generate some type of like response. You want it to go somewhere. It's got to go somewhere.
When I set up my own account, my own professional profile, it's just me. When I post something on there, it's just going to my list of people. But a boosted ad is actually Facebook says, well, now we're gonna take your thing and we're gonna post it in whenever everybody else goes into Facebook. Anybody in that demographic or in that zip code or wherever you've identified, they're also going to see this posting, correct?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can reach 5, 10, 20,000 people in a 5 to 7 day period pretty quickly on average in most metro and suburban areas in the United States within a 10 to 15 mile radius of where you're doing the event or where your listing's at.
Instagram work the same way?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
But
Instagram and Facebook pretty much are integrated and do the same stuff.
Got it. But what about listings? What if I wanted to get a listing, not just a buyer, but a listing? Do those cost more?
Yeah, if you're targeting seller leads, the reason why they cost more is there's not going to get as much response. You're going to get more response with buyers leads, so the cost per lead goes down. You're not going to get as many people reaching out to you on the selling side, so the cost per lead goes up.
What are you finding on average for a cost per seller lead?
Yeah, you're looking on Facebook about $30 to $40 a lead right now.
$30 to $40 a lead. So here's what I'm getting at. You can get a lot of leads. If you got money, you can do it. And you can do it by boosting and paying. You can also do your own stuff on social media, right? Where you're posting regular and you're building your sphere and you're getting more likes and people to follow you. And you're probably everybody I've talked to as an expert says you have to have your personal profile and you must have a professional profile.
You have to have both.
Right? You got to have both. And you're driving most of it through your professional profile. Because I think the key here is what's that messaging? How do I get that out? If I don't have any money, but I want to use these social medias, like somebody said, what do I do in a TikTok video? How does that work for marketing?
It's literally your creativity is your sky. Whatever you want to talk about, it's literally talking. You could grab a mortgage person in your office if you have a mortgage person or someone that you know, and just have a quick conversation and post a video about the current mortgage market. I would always have a mortgage person if I'm going to talk details about mortgages, interest rates, and things like that, because there's another level of certification you have to have in the United States to be able to be detailed about that. You can literally, I have agents that don't have listings, but they'll tour other open houses, talk to the listing agent or whoever's hosting open house, say, I'm just going to do a quick video here and let everybody know that you're hosting this open house. And it looks like when they're doing the video, it looks like it's there. Let me give you a quick tour of this home. And they turn their device around and show the property. Right. And they put that out there. So anything that they're doing to generate interest. Here, I'm walking this neighborhood. I'm door knocking. I'm going to a community event. There's a pet adoption event this Saturday at 9 a.m. Come on out. And then they just post that. It doesn't.
And what you're getting at here is you're posting things that the people are interested in. One note. Before you post in a video of inside anybody's home, make sure you get approval to do that. From the curb is fine because it's public, but anything inside the home, you be careful posting any video with somebody.
Yeah. So normally listings have given you that. The sellers have given you that permission in the listing agreement, and the listing agent, if they're the one hosting it, you go in and say, hey, I'm gonna do a quick video here. I'll interview you real quick. 99.9% of the time, they don't have any problem with it.
Awesome. So, but you were getting to something interesting. Like you said, I'm going to the dog, there's a rescue dog situation. How do people organize? It's a big world. I mean, how do you have a message that rings through and who's your group? How do you get to people who you can associate with? Because that's really what social media is about, groups. In fact, this podcast I listened to that, talked about the end of civilization, said why social media is such a thing is because you start to affiliate and you start to become a part of a group through social media. And the reason I think it's the end of the world is because when you see a contrary view, you feel like your group is being attacked, right? But how do these people associate with a group? Because I think that's the power of social media. Like, you belong to something.
So other than setting up your profiles, make sure you set up your profiles. The next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you start looking at group pages that resonate with you. In other words, if you are all about rescuing dogs and pets and whatnot, and that's a big thing for you. If you're all about, you're a connoisseur of wine, you love wine. If you're a mom, mom or dad, there are mom pages, there are dad pages. Youth sports is a big one. Any type of community type thing going on in the community, those types of things. Go to those pages that, pick 2 or 3, at least 2 or 3, and join those groups and start engaging, start interacting, start talking to people in there. Eventually.
Yeah, I did it I would voyeur for a while. Like, I was afraid, like, are they going to like me? And then I found the group that I really knew a lot about. And I was like, oh, I can add to this conversation. And I've got something interesting. And it was funny how they open up to you. All right. I mean,
was it the Good Hair Group? Did you join the Good Hair Group on Facebook?
The Good Hair Group? Oh, nice.
You have the best hair. I'm just telling you.
You're cracking me up. Yeah, but I'm not going to go to some aerospace group. I don't know anything about rocketry. I mean, so I'm in a bicycling group, and I'm in a pickleball group, and I'm in, I do those sort of things. And so I hear you. Let me ask you this. We can identify the platforms to be on. We can identify how to set up do your personal profile, do professional profile, and use your professional profile for work. And we have identified that if you want to spend money, you can drive and boost ads and you can get leads. But the key is what do you do with those leads? Because if you're spending money, isn't it all about lead conversion? Yeah. I mean, isn't that it?
So here's again another pushback that you get sometimes, because people don't mind. Most agents, especially getting started, or people that never really figured out how to get the momentum going, they don't mind like following up once or twice, but they feel like after that they're being a pest, they're being a bother. They don't want to be that person. They don't want to be that guy. They don't want to be that girl, whatever. Right? Here's the thing. Most of the statistics show the money contact, follow-up contact is somewhere between 8 to 12 times. 8 to 12 times. So most of the big top producers, most of the big top teams have 12 touch systems in the first 5 to 7 days after that lead is generated. And that's through phone calls, text message, email, drop voicemail. There's all kinds of different techniques.
Wait a second. 12 times in 5 days. That's going to feel like I'm stalking them at that point, aren't they?
That's what you have to feel like. If you're not feeling like you're stalking them, you're not doing your job. And here's what I want to remind you. You guys have all of you are all consumers. You've been on the other end of that. How many times have you inquired and then people started stalking you and you started getting a call? Eventually you picked up to tell them, hey, leave me alone. And then pretty soon you were giving their credit card for something. Right. So our only thing we want to do is we want to get appointments. We want to get in front of people, because eventually that's the only way we're going to convert that lead into a transaction.
So this is a big point for me. 12. I would do 2. I would do 3. I would never even think to do it 12 times. 12 times to try to contact them
in 5 days.
In 5 days. Mm-hmm. If there's any nugget I would have got out of this myself, that's a big nugget for me. And you're right, though. I've had people, and then after a while, I'm like, that's a good salesperson. They're sticking with it. And when I talked to them, they really did know what they were talking about. I think you're right. Let me do this. I got one more poll question, and then Art, we're gonna wrap up, because I know you've got just a couple little steps for everybody, and I know we're almost out of time. But I got one more poll question for those of you who are actually doing the social media and you're getting all these leads. I want to know: are you tracking your conversions? I just want to understand that if you're being really, this is kind of how sophisticated, once again, it's totally anonymous, but I'm wondering how sophisticated you are. If you're doing this, go ahead and answer this poll. Do you currently track your lead conversions? Like, I got 47 leads last week and I have converted 3 of them. Or, are you doing it religiously? I'd really like to know that, because there's a whole theory out there about, obviously, the better you get and the more experience you get, the better you are at converting those leads. And so I'm going to go ahead, 5, 4, 3. Oh, this is interesting. Let's go ahead and share this real quick. Do you currently track your leads? Yes, about 12%. No, with 39%. And then we got 47. I'm in that 47% right there. I'm with you. I think I should be doing a much better job of it. So look at that. So 12% are really tracking it. And I would have to guess, and this is the part where nobody likes to hear this, but I would have to guess that 12% are probably the ones who are becoming super efficient at this, and they are maximizing their dollar. Am I right?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. That's the ones that they know. They know that the more they follow up and track track where their business is coming from.
How else are you going to know which platform you resonate on?
You can't make any business decisions without tracking it. You just can't.
I got a conversion rate of 4% on Facebook. I got a conversion rate of 37% because I killed a TikTok video. You got to think about that, right? And where you're spending, you can spend as much money as you want, but in the end, you got to be profitable.
Yeah.
And so you've got to track those conversion rates.
The difference between being broke and being, okay is like when your kids ask you for something, you can say yes or no because you track what you have. If you just say yes and say, here's whatever you need, eventually you don't have anything in the well to give them. So you got to track it so you know what's in the well.
Right on. As a matter of fact, Brett is in Florida. Yes, Brett, you can watch this later. We'll send it out. It'll be out within a week. Last question for Art. I know we're just a couple minutes over. We're going to wrap it up right here. Are there specific steps, real quickly, that to integrate this into my daily activities? If I'm an agent, what's the first thing I can do? I mean, I know there's a long path and there's many branches, but what could I do today to integrate this into my daily activity?
So just real quickly, and we've been kind of talking about it, but go and set your profiles right now. If you already have your license, set up your business profile. If you don't have your license yet, you're working on your license, make sure you activate or start a profile in those 3 platforms or any platforms that you want. Those are the 3 I recommend, but the ones that you're going to use are going to be the best ones, right? Those for sure. So use those. Those are the 3 that I think you should. Number 2, start engaging with people right now. I've done tests over the years. It works. When I spend a year wishing people happy birthday, you know what happens on my birthday? I get thousands of responses, literally thousands of responses for my birthday. When I don't do it, I get a couple hundred, right? Yeah. So it's a huge difference. It's the law of reciprocity. Start engaging, start liking, sharing, commenting, because that's what you want with your posts, right? And then number 3, find those groups that resonate with you. Find those groups right now, join those groups, and start interacting with them. Become the go-to person. Everybody wants to have a person. Everybody wants to, in real estate, when someone says, I have a person, I have a guy, you know who I want them to be thinking of? Me. For whatever, right? And that's the way it's going to happen is if I'm engaging and answering questions.
Art, you've been awesome. Thank you again for your time. Thank you, everybody, for being a participant today in our Real Expert presentation. We're going to go ahead and close it here. And once again, we'll ship this out to everybody within the next week. If for any reason you want to watch it again or you missed part of it. And take care. Thank you, Art.